Hey fellow gardeners, Dawn here from Seasonal Designs. I garden in Wisconsin, Zone 5. Welcome to my next video in my series called Creative Containers. Today we are going to be putting together another fall arrangement in two large urns that sit on either side of the entryway to my greenhouse. Well, I get a lot of questions from you guys about my process and how I decide what I am going to put in my containers and how I come up with so many different things. And I will be honest with you, I rarely head to the garden center with a preconceived notion of what my containers are going to look like. My process is I go to the garden center, I see what's available to me that day, and then I build what's going to be in my container while I'm at the garden center. Too many times I might see something I like and I go look for it and it's not available. And I'm just not one to, drive around to different garden centers to try to find a particular plant. It's just not worth it. There's so many other choices at the garden center. So for me, it works better to just go there, see what's available, pull it together on my cart, and then bring it home and plant it up. Today, that is the process that I am going to take you through. And I get to the garden center, and what do you see? Rows and rows and rows of mums. And I love mums. I think they're beautiful, but I do think they're very one-dimensional. Literally, as far as my eye can see, there are mums in bloom, mums that we're waiting to see some blooms on. So I am a little bit early in the garden sector, but I am looking for something else. Perennials are 20% off. So this is sort of a foliage section here, and I love using the Heucheras or Corabelles in my fall containers. They provide great texture and color. Don't discount these.
Look at those. That's gorgeous.
I also think that echinacea or coneflowers will look beautiful in fall containers. You never know what you're going to see. I saw this beautiful monarch butterfly drinking nectar, getting ready to fly south. Now, a lot of these echinacea or coneflowers are starting to look a little tired, but there's always ones that look gorgeous. Like this one right here. I wish there were two. I thought this was beautiful, but there was only one. But continue to look through this stuff because there is a lot to choose from. Heading back over to the typical fall varieties, I did see some cabbage, I saw some marigolds, I saw celosia, there were some ornamental peppers and some grasses. So I went and grabbed a cart and I started building my container right at the garden center. I love using ornamental cabbage in my fall containers. I thought these were beautiful. The color is only going to intensify as the temperatures drop. And I'm picking one for each container. Going to pass on the coleus one cold night, and it's not going to look very good. But I did find some beautiful Rudbeckia or black-eyed Susan. That was Sunbeckia Luna. So I am grabbing two of those. I think they're beautiful. Right next to those, I saw some beautiful marigolds in this deep burgundy color, and I thought this would really look good. So as I'm putting this together, I am thinking we are off to a good start. Over to the pansies. I love adding pansies to my containers. They're great for popping into empty spaces. I thought that one would look really good, but it's part of a mixed pack and I don't want multicolors. I really want one color. And then I found this one here. This is a yellow blotch. It has this darker center. I thought this looked good with my Rudbeckia as well as my marigold. So I feel like we're off to a good start. Back over to the perennial section where perennials are 20% off. I wanted to add a Heuchera or Corabelle to this. Any of these that I am adding here kind of to show you what they look like would look great. There's a couple different colors and varieties in here. Some are a little bit bigger than others. This caramel I thought was beautiful in here. But the one that I sort of settled on was this beautiful one with the red. I think it was Northern Red, and it looked really good at picking up the colors of my existing plants. So back down another aisle here in the perennial section. I thought this was really pretty, but decided, it really didn't have enough blooms for me, so I sort of skipped that one. But down at the end of this aisle was another Rudbeckia called Little Suzy. And not only did it have blooms, but it also had buds that were coming, and I thought, yep, this one is coming to my collection. You're gonna see this just looks fantastic. And as I started looking at this out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that caught my attention, a chrysanthemum called Mammoth Lavender Daisy. And I just absolutely fell in love with this. And I placed it down in my cart, and I knew that I had to have it. But as I took a step back, I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure now that I like the red Heuchera. It could definitely work, but I wanted to see if there was a different Heuchera that I might like better. And to my surprise, there was one that actually had pink in it. This is Midnight Rose, and I thought it was perfect, so I did swap this out. And here's what I came home with. So this beautiful cabbage, this is crane pink, absolutely love it. Next up is that little Rudbeckia that I found called Little Suzy. I have a second Rudbeckia in here. This is Sunbeckia Luna. Next up is this Marigold. It didn't have a tag. This is a beautiful deep burgundy color. And then this guy, which I love, this is a hardy mum or a chrysanthemum called Mammoth Lavender Daisy. And then that beautiful Midnight Rose Corabels or Heuchera that matches that daisy. Love it. Last but not least, I have a pansy with a yellow blotch to it. Love it. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put my ornamental cabbage in this because he's going to go front and center. But before I stick him in here, because he's so big and I don't want to wreck him, I'm putting him in first, but then I'm putting my cool orbs back in. And this is always a great time to have two people here, but I don't have two people here. So I'm going to do it myself. Love this orb. I can't find this particular one, but I have found a good substitute because so many of you like it. So I will put a link to the orb in the description of this video. I love this. I feel like it works incredibly well in this container. I use it all the time now. Spring, summer, fall, winter, I'm always using this. And I'm gonna put this in next. And then what I like to do, once it's placed, check to make sure it's square. And then I will come back and add the rest of the plants into this arrangement. We're gonna lay everything out, then we're gonna plant it up. All right, so I really want to lay this out so I have an idea of where I'm going to plant things up. So my cabbage, I am going to plant on its side so that it faces out. So many times you'll see cabbage that's facing outward. That's because you plant it on its side. So I'm either going to do it, it's either going to be on this corner or that corner. And I'm just not quite sure which corner I want it to be on. And this is why you play around with this first. So I think like that on that corner, because then I want to add the pretty chrysanthemum here. I love this with the pink and the yellow. Ugh, can't get enough of that color. I'm going to add the corabels here with this pretty purple and pink foliage. Ties so nicely to my chrysanthemum. So this guy here, the Rudbeckia is going to go, this is the tallest. It's not going to get as tall in this pot as it would in the ground, but it's my tallest. So I think I'm going to tuck him right in there. I'm going to add this guy next, and I kind of want to put him maybe off to the side a little bit. Or maybe even here in the back. You probably can't see this, but when I plant this up, I'll give you a close-up. And then this lovely guy here. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I think I like the way I have this, and I like to take a look at it and see. And then the last thing I'll do is wherever I have some space, I'll pop this in, the pansy, and you're going to notice that I left a space around the entire edge of this, except for right here, and that's because I'm thinking of adding something along the whole sort of inside edge of this to give this a little more texture and to really kind of take this pot up a notch. So let me plant this up, and then we'll come back and we'll continue to work on this. Well, let me show you what we have so far. Off the left-hand side, I have my cabbage, and I've planted it so it's slightly on its side, so it's sort of facing up and outward so that you can see what it looks like. As it gets cold, this purple color in here is going to intensify, and it's going to be gorgeous. Then I have the chrysanthemum here, and I have a little bit of a space here. I'm probably going to come back with a viola there, but not yet. And then the coral bells here, and this is what it looks like from the back. You can see I have a little bit of space that I can fill in with some of my pansies or violas, but there is another element we're going to add. So here's where we're at so far. Now you could very easily just take your violas and put them around the arrangement where you have some holes. That beautiful yellow color with the dark center really ties into both the Rudbeckia and this one right here as well, with their dark centers and the yellow outer edges. That would be absolutely beautiful, and it would be perfect. But we are going to just kind of take this planter up a notch by adding some faux elements. So let me go grab those. So this is what I'm thinking of adding. It's a swag. It's mostly greens and browns. It's got a lot of nice texture. It's got a little bit of orange. I've been using this for years, inside, outside. It's starting to get a little faded and a little worn, but it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to add this around the edge of this planter. So super easy. I'm just going to take this, I'll probably tuck it right underneath my little cabbage leaf there, and I'm simply going to tuck this around the inner edge of this planter. So I'm really filling in the space between the dirt and the edge of my planter, but still leaving the pretty outside edge of my planter. So I have two of these. I'm going to add one more. So this is my second one, and it used to be one full one, but because I really only need 1.5 to make it around this pot, I've cut this one in half, and I can use it every year. So I'm going to put the other half over here, and it should fill in perfectly. And I'm going to put it like underneath the little cabbage leaves if I can, so that can kind of come out a little bit, and just tuck this all in. Come around. I'm going to play with it because I like it when it kind of sticks up a little bit. So here's what we have so far. Now you can see here, this is where I'm going to add some of my pansies, in where you can see the dirt and in there. So I'm going to do that next, but doesn't that add a lot? I think that looks just so fall-like. The other thing I like to add is, especially for fall and obviously for my winter containers, is some additional faux elements. This has just really sort of a faded, soft orange look that I think would be really pretty in this container. You can see that I've added 2 right in here. I'm going to add 1 more, I think, here in the back. Now, the nice thing about adding something like this is, let's say you've planted up your container, but not everything is blooming. This can give you some temporary color. You could always pull these out if you wanted to. I think I'm going to actually add 1 more right in here, or you can leave it because it just adds another layer to this beautiful arrangement. And here is the final container or final set of containers. I think it just turned out so beautiful. There is so much texture, there's so much color, and a lot of these plants are obviously going to get bigger and fill in, and probably in another couple of weeks this is just going to be absolutely lovely. I'll try to make sure to come back and pop up a couple of short little videos on what these look like here as fall continues on. Now, a lot of times I like to add pumpkins to my containers, and I really couldn't find any of the cute smaller gourds or pumpkins to add, so I may come back and add those as well. But we are a little earlier in the season. You know, I wanted to start giving you guys ideas, so I probably am going to add a few of those as well.